Hey, it's raining. No school today because it's raining. Remember Powerpuff Girls? Anyway, yeah, it's kind of a gloomy day. It was sort of a gloomy day yesterday too. I had like 2 straight weeks of like fun, and that was such a relief because you guys know that this is the Venus retrograde that I lost the Beatles. That was a big loss. Yeah, just if you're keeping track at home of all the extent of the lies that we've been told and doing your own work about it, you will have found this out in any field that you go down. But, you know, arts and culture happens to be my field, my area of specialty, which I have dedicated my life to studying. And yeah, just like found out, I don't know, was it 6, 7, 8 weeks ago now that the Beatles are a project of a mind control organization called Tavistock, who was involved and behind a lot of bands that we know. And man, and I already, you know, being an artist, kind of was living on the outside of society, normie society anyway, my whole life. And it's become more important to me to get off of all their systems, and their systems and tentacles are everywhere. And at this point, I'm kind of like, you know, if it's like arsenic in your food, it's really... And then once you start like detoxing from the arsenic, you're like, I can't handle even a little bit of arsenic. Like it's like an exorcism because my body wants to live. My soul wants to live. I want to express myself and grow and have joy and do all these things. So anything that's a system that suppresses that, I'm very sensitive to. And you know, and of course I've had to endure being told over and over again that, you know, suck it up, I'm not that special, like la da 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 da, and, you know, and just go into self-preservation mode about it, losing friends, family, whole communities, jobs, lots of comfort. So, I mean, I'm not, I know exactly what I'm asking everyone to do. So, but as I've been saying recently, inconvenience is the price of freedom. And if you can't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything. And that, man, is that ever true? So the reason I'm a little gloomier today was because I had just like a stretch of like 2 great weeks. It was like spring, it was sunny, it felt like spring. It was like finally social, things were happening. I was meeting people, synchronicities were happening. You know, it just felt like the magic was back on. And yeah, and then but then despite that, like a lot of my people I know and stuff just going down these really dark rabbit holes, making lots of decisions based on fear, which is number one. I don't do that. I stay out of that. You can't build anything lasting on fear. It's like, you know, these are like, you're telling yourself it's an emergency. You have to make emergency decisions, which is not like how you want to live your life. You can't relax your nervous system and be like triggered at the same time. You know, at a certain point you have to choose to relax your nervous system and take care of yourself. So anyway, it is dark in here today, but I'm just gonna let it be how it is, because it's a lot to process. And I keep saying this too, that each layer of this that I get off of, and I was already pretty far off of stuff, you guys. Like, I've been already, like, I didn't get the COVID vaccine. I was living in the forest. I didn't do mask. I never bought a mask. I was wearing bandanas the whole time. Like, you know, so it's like, I've already not been participating in this shit for a long time. And even now, the layers of it that are constantly being shown to me in every field imaginable, because this is like everyone's getting to the same conclusion that we are the technology that's been suppressed. Like, we are our souls. This is a spiritual war. There, it just is. And, you know, if you're not a spiritual person, call it what you want. You want to make it all about science. You want to make it about all this, whatever. They're stealing your life force. They're stealing your soul. They're stealing your memories. They're trying to corral us into, yeah, what? A transhumanist world where we're just at, it's a slave world. And they've been going at this for a long time. They're really good at it. So, I'll just share. And really today I wanted to get on here to talk about the bigger project of astrology. I made this yesterday, which I was pretty proud of. Because as I said, I want to share with dudes in particular, men folk, about astrology. And that includes tarot, mostly as a language to understand ourselves and to understand ourselves in relation to other people in the world. And but I had a little hiccup when I was getting more stuff kind of like ripped out from under me, which I'll get into. But I was like, it's possible that, you know, all of astrology, we've been lied to. They changed time. So even going from Western to Vedic astrology, because they've kept more accurate time, I believe, in India, more ancient, much more spiritual civilization. It's been going for continuously. So, you know, but they say that I feel this too, because I do appreciate, I mean, Veda, because I've been studying yoga, Ayurveda, and Vedic astrology. And now it's like all part of the same systems, of course. I love it. And but they say that the Vedic chart is kind of like your soul purpose, whereas the Western is like navigating in this world. And so, you know, both have their place. And, you know, even when I look at who I think I am, you know, and even when I lean into certain things that I think my signs to be, I could just as easily, you know, shift a little bit and see it through a Vedic lens, and also recognize those same threads in a little bit different flavor, but the same things. And so that's what's interesting to me about astrology. So anyway, I'll once I get to making the full video, this is kind of like, I've started the process. I'm doing the research. I'm making this thing. We're starting with Aries season. So it's a project underway, which is really what this channel is. It's like about my creative process in real time. So, and then the things I make out of it. But so I was working on this, and I was kind of like, all right, you know, even everything that I think I know is kind of like, is having holes poked in it and the rug being pulled out from under me. And this is like, through astrology, been described as like the fog of Neptune, that Neptune sort of like comes with this collective fog, and it does conceal stuff for us, but for the greater good, of course. It's like, if you really believe this stuff, the world that we've been shown, and you can't get out of it, it's like you might just stay in that fog. And then what? I don't know. Anyway, so I am working on this project. And yesterday, while I was doing a lot of drawing, which I'll also share, so part of my recent mission, so I'm working on my show right now, which is coming up May 18th. I hope you're coming. If you're in or near Baltimore, get your tickets now, because I haven't performed in a year, and it's really my favorite thing to do. And I'm trying to figure out how to make art about all this and be myself and all the things, and keep going with all the ideas that I already had been working with. So, you know, please come to the show. That's like the most important thing. But also I'm working on, you know, trying to survive the demon lands. That's a full-time job, just staying healthy and taking care of myself. Also with whatever resources I can acquire that don't require me selling my soul or working with demons or working with people that have sold their souls and throw me under the bus. So yeah, we gotta laugh about it, you guys. Anyway, so I'm working on a tarot deck. You know, I want to have something to show for my art that's like actually useful. And I really love tarot as a system for strengthening your intuition, and it does have correspondences to astrology, and because it also uses a system based on the elements, it's elemental, just like astrology. So it comes down to the elements, which is what we are essentially, is the elements, and also the fifth element, ether. But those are the building blocks, and they have different, concentrations, and they intermingle in these different ways, and that gives us the flavor and nature of our personality, our type of characteristics, which are somewhat changeable, but also somewhat not, because of the way that the elements are concentrated inside of us, which is shown through our birth chart in astrology, which I think is really cool. Also, file this under Know Thy Enemy. Astrology and numerology have been used against us for a very long time, so you might as well learn it. Because it's being used against you. And, it's like, and I'm sure for a lot of people, this is just too far, and I'm a conspiracy theorist and blah, blah, blah. But, and it falls under the culture, which in a way I'm a keeper of. The soil our consciousness grows in. And thank God you got someone who's still wild, free range, organic. That's me. So, it's been a great personal expense that I've continued and survived. I'm really lucky that I haven't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get too dark about it, but yeah, like it's been so hard, and I've lost so much in the process, just standing up for things, that I'm lucky to be here. And so it is very sobering, and it's very serious when I really am about fun, having fun. But it's heavy, you guys, and it's everything. And it's like, and it drives me crazy. Like my friends that are on and on about the president or this, what, and I'm like, I can't anymore. Like, he is a player. They're all players. And this is becoming more and more clear because of the research that I've done into music, what has been going on with music. And it's literally every field. Just because I don't know the names of the players in the medical industrial complex, in the agricultural industrial complex, in the military industrial complex, which are pretty much all the same complex, run by blue blood elites that go back way, 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 way back, and did sell their soul to demons. So it gets absolutely biblical in a really literal way. It's pretty weird. Anyway, I'm just saying, this is the stuff that's going on. And so I really need some people that are going to snap out of it and stop acting like, oh, it's just a little bit of Nazi mind control. I'm sure I'll be fine. Okay. I'll be out here. You guys, come on. Come on. So what happened yesterday was, and then I'll get into I'll share the tarot drawings that I've been doing. So what happened yesterday was, not only like losing the Beatles, which I have been, I mean, that flattened me for like 3 days of grief, like straight out the bat. I got like physically sick, unable to like lift it was such a betrayal, such a lie. It was so vast. I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And then it's been slowly like integrating, like, oh, well, if they did that, then what else have they done? And then once you start looking at that, you're like, oh, okay. And so it's just like a lot to process and keep coming back to optimism, which astrology helps me with, believe it or not, because we're ending a yuga cycle, which is how they would describe it in the Vedas, excuse me. It's literally ending. And so it's like, it is like when a sleeve turns inside out, and now it's like the other way. We have made the turn to the ascending cycle instead of the descending cycle. But these are very, very long cycles. So I don't know how much we'll get to experience in our lifetime, but a little bit of improvement could feel like a lot because of what we've been through. So I am optimistic. I always have to recalibrate to optimism to be a creative force and to use my power of destruction wisely. And I also want to remind you that neglect is a form of destruction. So you neglecting these intuitive hunches and hits and your own intuition is a form of neglect, which is a form of destruction, which will also cause damage to you. So, you know, it's like we're meant to be hardwired to the earth, literally, psychically, like energetically, physically. So we're the technology. And yesterday, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, I can't emphasize some of this stuff enough, because even for me, like, I can't afford to fall into cynicism. I can't afford to I mean, it's a lot of stuff where I can't even afford now to indulge sleepwalkers. Like, I'm just like, okay, well, if you can't handle me talking like this, like, I gotta go, because I actually need people who can talk to me on this way, and who have done their own work and can bring something else to the table that I can benefit from. So it's a lot, you guys. And I just want to remind you that it comes through an emotional verification and an intuitive verification, and then I have to take it to my mind and sort of make sense about it without letting my mind overtake it. So then you have to take it back down to the intuition once you've tried to pull it all apart and look at it intellectually, and then take it back down. Is this still true? Because don't ignore your intuition. Don't ignore it. And then when it's confirmed with other things, like, don't ignore it. Stop ignoring it. Stop putting your head back in the sand. Stop acting like it's okay to just be on social media because you have to for your business. You guys, this is serious. It's like, it's time. It's just time that we're going to have to, price of freedom is inconvenience. We need to just control of as much of our own worlds as possible, which to me has just meant going back to analog stuff right now. And maybe that's like a transitional thing, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's better doing things kind of the more analog way. I'm having fun. Certainly started activating the magic and synchronicities a little bit more that I love and appreciate, that have been gone for many years. So yesterday, long story long, I'm good at that, you guys. I'm like making a short story long. It was kind of through one of the channels that I started following, that I was listening to the Beatles conspiracy stuff, and found one called Know Your Enemy. That's a good one. And then there was one that came through that. Another Higher Side Chats guy that I listened to was breaking down the symbolism in the portrait of King Charles, and also the royal bloodlines and how they connect back to American leaders and the whole military intelligence stuff. That got me to this other recommendation on YouTube, which I really appreciated, which was just a woman reading a book called Weird Scenes Inside Laurel Canyon, which I have heard of, but I had not read. And she read it to me while I was still working on my illustrations, which is, you know, I usually listen to a lot of stuff like that, books and podcasts, videos, things like that, astrology. But I listened for several hours yesterday to her reading this book, which it was hard. It's like all of the hippie movement, all the music of the 60s. And man, I was just like, ooh, wow. Venus retrograde. It was like another round of like, yoink. I know you love that, but you need to see it for what it is. And, you know, one thing I haven't resolved inside myself now is what to do with the music that I genuinely love, that got me through my hardest teenage years, that I loved so much. Like, I loved rock and roll as one of my favorite things about living on this planet in this time. So this is not a small thing for me to realize that it's all been manipulated and created through this crazy Neptune fog for what? How many years? 40, 50 years? I mean, this is like, I have to have a lot of tenderness for myself even. You know, it's like, wow, you're like, it's just not what I thought it was at all. The heart of it was completely poisoned. And I mean, of course we knew that. We knew the whole thing about peace and love was really about drugs and sex. I mean, not that some of those things aren't fun too, to some extent, but I didn't really get into that level, you know, especially, I mean, I don't know, you guys, it's just a lot. So I'm going to share first, just what I think the best thing to share would be what I wrote myself, my own morning pages this morning about trying to process this stuff, because it's hard. And because I need more people that are also doing this kind of work and are not afraid to stand up for stuff. It's not just enough to consume this stuff as ideas. You have to apply it to your life. Change your beliefs, change your actions, start doing something different. Make sure you're not acting from fear. Get the arsenic of the overculture out of your food, literally. Your mental food, your physical food, everything. So, okay, let's see. All right, here we are. And then the towers continued to crumble as I listened to a woman reading a book aloud called Weird Scenes from Inside the Canyon, which is a laundry list of fuckery in the hippie movement of the 60s. All children of military intelligence, family bloodlines. It's all about family bloodlines. Groomed and recruited from young ages, not all of them unwilling. That's the other thing. You just assume they'd be rebelling against their parents and stuff, but many of them weren't. Such as Frank Zappa. Grew up in Baltimore for a little bit. Very influential. I mean, he wasn't as big for me as the Beatles, but very influential for men that I know. Frank Zappa, who openly hated the hippies, who ran a gatekeeping party house in Laurel Canyon called the Log Cabin, which was not a log cabin. It was actually a 5-story house. Frank Zappa, who grew up with a military intelligence father with whom he did not have a rebellious relationship, and he grew up for many years near a central MK Ultra training place in fucking Maryland, where I'm from, close to here, and DC. This is a place called, near Baltimore, called Edgewood, Edgemere, Edge something, I can't remember. Also, Jim Morrison's dad was directly connected to the Vietnam War, like leading a boat to battle kind of a level. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, the Grateful Dead, obviously. Everyone knows that's a PSYOP. CIA infiltrated. Absolute distraction with drugs and partying, ruining of any sort of counter. And that was the point of all of this, was to ruin any counter movement against the war, to literally ruin any scene or any community that was trying to organize against the Vietnam War. They just dumped drugs and sex and all this cult-like stuff into it. Where was I? Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, the Grateful Dead, Cass Elliot, Mamas and Papas, Mike Nesmith, the Monkees, David Crosby is like an epic elite bloodline. Graham Parsons, Stephen Stills, Charles Manson, they were all hanging out with. Frank Zappa, Jim Morrison, all played a part as actors. They were actors. Very good performers. Very good performers. Looking like one thing, being another. All promoting sex, drugs, and youth rebellion, literally telling kids to leave their homes and join the cult. Literally. False idols, idol worship, soul entrapment. It just went on and on until many of them got violently murdered, or their partners did, just disappeared them, getting overdosed, or having fake suicides, being thrown out of windows, like all the kind of crap that was going on there. The extent of the murders, the list of the murders in that book, you guys, is like, and I was just talking about being squeamish about the ghost tours. I mean, this was like next level. And like, out of respect for the dead, it's the same thing. I'm like, wow, like justice for those people killed in that, but also, did they agree to it? You know, is it karma, or do they need justice? I'm not sure. It's so fucking dark and so pervasive. It's a lot to process. What do I even do with my pure love for rock and roll? If it was one of my greatest joys, can we not have fun, sexy, rebellious music anymore? Like, everything that I loved was called into question. Is there such a thing as straddling both worlds anymore? And no, I used to think there was, that I had to live one foot in both just to survive. And now I'm like, to survive, I have to get the fuck out of that one. No, that's the answer to this rhetorical question. No, no, no. A little bit of Nazi mind control won't kill you if you never get off of it. But I started to get off of it. It's arsenic in the food, slow death from the inside, and I already unhooked. I can't go back, even a little. Live outside the system. Live outside the system. That's all I can think to do. As much as possible. As much as possible. If you don't stand up for something, for what's right, you will fall for anything. So you're not going to get through this just like burying your head in the sand, focusing on your own healing, acting like this is all just like, just have to focus on me, and everything is an inside job until it's time to take it to the outside. So it's time to take it to the outside, you guys. Like, you know, the Renaissance will not be on the internet. It will be on the internet. Internet. We are the technology they didn't want you to know about. The revolution will not be televised. The Renaissance will not be on the internet. The Renaissance will be on the internet. Elite blue blood family lines using every occult weapon in the book, which they took because they stole everything. They kept what they wanted and then inverted it. They literally just made it upside down world. What we knew, they inverted what we knew, so we would never find our way back to it. We would think that any relation to that thing is the problem. It's like, it's an inverted system though. So you have to parse out what was turned upside down and what is actually useful, which is like the opposite of everything we've been shown and told our entire lives. Working through the military, medical, agricultural, cultural, industrial complexes. Sanctioned Nazi mind control, psychological experiments at scale. You can't lose the plot anymore. And this is me talking to myself, but I'm talking to you too. You can't lose the plot. You can't get lost in it again, ever again. It's a spiritual war. Like, this is a spiritual war. And no one wants to believe that because everyone's gotten really far away from spirit. And that's a sad fact. But it's time to come back now. This is a battle to siphon our souls, our life force, our vitality, our joy, our purpose, our actual connection to the earth, which is hardwired into us, but they scrambled all the signals. Stop participating in the demise of your own soul, of the demise of your life. You can take it back. Yes, it's challenging. Inconvenience is the price of freedom, so make some willing sacrifices. At this point, I think I switched to start talking to you on this channel right now. I am talking to myself. I'm always reminding myself to stay on mission. So make some willing sacrifices. Start small and then snowball it from there. This may be how the world used to work, but not anymore. It may mean backtracking and going back to simpler ways in order to guarantee purity, and not in an OCD manic way of like everything's got to be pure, 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 but from love. making sure that you don't have an opportunism or a fear, a seed fear behind your actions. Intention. Why are we taking action? Cannot be from fear. If we react from fear, that is exactly what they want. And I'm not playing anymore. I don't want to play those games anymore. Nothing lasting can be built that way. So get out of fear. Process the feelings and get to the other side of the feelings. So this is the other thing. It brings up a lot of feelings. Of course it's scary. I mean, it's like what it takes for me to get to the point of laughing about it. It's a lot of internal reflection. It's a lot of not being sure. It's a lot of admitting that I don't know. But like, what do I know? And what is real? So getting to the other side of it, you got to get to the other side of those feelings, the anger, the outrage. All those things are absolutely reasonable reactions, but you have to work through them and get to the other side of them. The other side is always gratitude and acceptance. And then you can take action from clarity, from a positive place, doing the right thing from and with love. And loving yourself is loving God. Like, taking care of your body is taking care of the earth. And you mature from there. And then you widen your orbit to love and care for others, to love and care for nature, to love and care for the whole dang thing. The time is now, the time is now. It was all practice before. Step forward into the light. So that's what I'm up to. I will get back. Okay, so here's what's going on with this project. And this is related to teaching dudes astrology. So dudes, listen up. We're going to, I guess I would call this a mystery school. I hope mystery schools don't totally get a bad rap in the unraveling, because I know that they took, everything and inverted it and used it against us. So like literally I haven't figured out which way is up entirely, but you might as well learn an ancient system. And some of the benefits, I'll just remind you here, and I will do again when we get into the official thing. But I guess I'll call this the mystery school side. But, some of the benefits are, like I keep saying, about getting out of linear time and getting into cyclical time, but also starting to see yourself as multidimensional, as made up of many parts, many notes, many colors, like many different things that vibrate in a certain way that creates the manifestation that you're living in right now. And I believe our souls have had many, maybe we are fallen angels who returned and are coming back now to get things right. I don't know. So we might not be that far removed from some of this stuff, or maybe we chose like really demonic, karmic, horrible things to learn from and to be part of, and who knows, I'm just I'm just here for the ride, you guys. So tarot, those are some of the like rewiring myself to seasonal and cyclical time is not a small thing, because this whole linear time is punitive, unforgiving. It's one way. It's like the way that tells us that we just get old and then we're useless and then we die. And it's like, that's just not, like, when you get out of that, get into cyclical time, you're like, oh, everything has a season, and I'm on a long season of my lifetime, and there's seasons within seasons. And how do I lean into that and be prepared and enjoy it the most? So I'm starting with the fire. And for me, I was like, well, fire, that's about passion. Like, that's like motivation, passion. Like, what gets your dick hard? What makes your dick hard? Whether you have one or not. Like, what gets me hard? What gets me out of bed, like, excited? Like, it's the grand adventure of life gets me excited. Yeah, love. adventure, like, you know, things happening, challenges, rising to the challenge, you know, like maybe getting your ass kicked. I don't know. All of it. It's all of it. So I was like, this is the first one we have here. What gets your dick hard? Very literal. But so working with that, I was like, all right, I also had this version, which is just, but I had trouble with using an erect penis as the wand the whole time, because then it just gets into multiples. And so one thing I'm struggling with, and it's like I start 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I got to 4, and I was like, I need to understand where it's going. When I'm writing a story or an act, part of me wants to know is like where it's going. And I'll put a place marker. It's not like I know exactly where it's going, but I'm like, I think it's going here. Or this would be satisfying if it got to here. And so I put like the finale, like what would be a satisfying finale? And then I'm like, okay, can I work my way there? And then usually something else totally happens along the way, which I'm open to. But it helps me to have like the understanding of what is that? So then I was doing a lot of research on the meaning of the cards, and I was having my own difficulty. So this is a deck. This is a Miss Cleo deck. So this is like the Ace of Wands. So this is what I'm saying. What gets your dick hard? They're like, grab the wand. Then this is one reason. So like the tarot readers, if they're talking about like lusty feelings, it's either this or the sword, grabbing the sword. But usually it's the wands. It's like, oh, it's a lusty excitement. Which you gotta have, you guys. So anyway, I was really struggling. A lot of the cards around 7, 8, 9, kind of, I was like, they don't really look that different to me, right? 7, 8, and 9. I was like, it's just a bunch of wands. And so I was like, you can't just have like 8 erection. Like it just didn't work as the metaphor for the wands. So it's like and then I went through a whole series of a whole story where I was trying to use candles, okay, as wands, or matches as the wand, you know, because then it's like we've got birthday candles, we've got lanterns, we've got campfires, we've got like different ways that the passion can be ignited and that we can illustrate that visually. So so here we have, so I started with, this is another version of the story, right? Where we've got in bed with an erection, and you see the candle. I'm like, okay. Then he, outside the window, it's the ocean, and he's here. So second, 2 of Wands is usually about like making plans and preparations. So he's here, he's got a knapsack. See that? And he's got 2 matches, 2 logs. He's on the beach. Sunset. Okay, so that's what I was going for story-wise. Then the 3 of Wands is usually like waiting for your ships to come in. So usually it's like a guy with 2 wands and a globe in his hand looking out at the water is traditional. And then he's like got 3 wands and he's like waiting for the ships to come back. Again, they seem kind of similar to me, but I was like, okay, let me go with it, because 3 is like you made a choice, you had the inspiration, you make a choice, you wait for the repercussions of that choice. So he's got 3 logs now, 3 pieces of fire. It's nighttime. And then the 4 of Wands is like when it's coming together. And I was like, okay, what's coming together? He's on the shoreline. There's a ship coming. Is he a pirate? Is he going to be overtaken by pirates? Is he building a ship? Are they bringing supplies? What's happening here? So I was like, I'm not totally sure, but you know, usually it's like fruit-laden garlands on canopies like this, and for like it's coming together. It's usually some kind of celebration. In this case, I had the same figure. Also, fire is a masculine energy. It's in the elements. It's a receptive or action energy, whereas like water is like a receptive energy. Anyway, so there's the ship. We've got a rope where the garlands would be, like, and he's holding a life preserver over his head because the traditional card has a wreath. Then we've got over here, okay, 5 of Wands is usually like a battle. And I know these are just sketches, so it's messy. We'll get there. But also I want you guys to weigh in. Give me some feedback on the story, because I like it when the story is like cohesive. It's telling one story. That's why I'm using this one masculine character for the whole journey of fire. So we see here, it's usually like a battling. Okay, so here I put them in a ring, and in like a wrestling ring with lit wands, and they're just like wailing on each other. So it's a little bit staged. There's an audience for it, cheering them on. And I was like, did he climb the edge of the boat and just like, I'm taking this thing over? Or are we just now on land now? Did we leave? Does it matter that it's continuous? I don't know. And sparring is actually like an important part of it. Like if you're a spiritual warrior, you got to have ways to work your ideas out and stuff. Like sparring in martial arts is a huge part of it, because otherwise it's, you don't have a way when you need it. It's not there. So it's not just bad. It's not just like a barroom brawl. It's more than that. 6 of Wands is usually like this victory, this return. And this one, I just thought it was funny, where it's like, okay, well, he has a black eye and he got his championship belt, but so he's like this sort of like reluctant hero, now he's the hero because he just, kicked their ass or something, or made it look like that. I don't know. Are we still on the boat? We could be. This is what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, then it's like, it's a little bit of paranoia sets in. It's like, well, all those people were against me, and now what? I got to defend this. Okay. And then 8 of Wands is usually like incoming information, passion. Like it's like shoot your shot. That's how I think of it. And it's a little scatter shot here. How are you going to shoot 8 flaming arrows, right? Where we left off. 9 of Wands. Okay, so here we're back. I did another version of shoot your shot, 8 of Wands. And I put someone on a... Now we're at the circus. I mean, we could still be on the ship, you guys. This could all be pirates. He could commandeer the ship, and then like the burden of the ship could be too much. I don't know. 10 of Wands is always about laying your burdens down. So it's like, oh wait, 9. 9's up here. 9, he's like fucking tired. He's like, are you kidding me? Are we there yet? Like, oh my God, I can't even. And so this was kind of traditional. I'm not totally psyched about this one, because it's just like, again, just a bunch of wands, really, which I'm like, I need a little bit more to go on. And then put your burdens down. There's got to be a different way to do this. Like his hat, I'm going to show his hat on fire is what I'm going to do. See, it's kind of burning right there. Because then the wands, it's like, yes, we have this whole journey, and then you get to the court cards, the page, the knight, the queen, the king, and that's when you like commit to like learning the path. It's like the rest was practice. Now it's like, I'm a serious student, I'm an apprentice, I am the thing, I'm the face of the thing. That's what's up with those. I would like to hear what you guys think about, just the story that's going on with the wands, how it can apply to your life, what you'd like to see, and those sort of like more confusing cards. Like I said, this is their 7 of Wands. This is the 8 of Wands, which I said, shoot your shot. This is 9 of Wands, when I'm just like, oh, he's just tired, I think. Like, what is he doing? I don't know what he's doing. And then, what do we got? 10 of Wands. It's like, put your burdens down. And some, it looks a lot more. Here, he looks like he's still got a lot of strength. But in a lot of 10 of Wands cards, it's a big burden, and they can't see where they're going. That's what I got for you. This was a long one. If you stayed this whole time, good on ya. It's brightening up a little bit out there. See that? That's good. Okay, more soon. I'm working on the Aries video. A lot of fun stuff is coming out. And yeah, and I made this too, which I can share, which I'm really proud of. I got to clean up. I had the hardest time because I was using fat markers and making the twins, the Gemini twins. It just didn't totally look great. But I'm feeling good because these are called the modalities. And then we've got the elements represented by the colors. We've got this elements also represented by these symbols. That's fire, water, air, earth. And then we've got the symbol of the zodiac, and we've got the little pictograph. So it's got a lot of the symbolism in it. And I use Libra, the scales, the balance, because it's all about balance. And that's what's going on. That's what I've got going. This is the art that's in the works right now. I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching, you guys. Stay strong out there. Stand up for something. Mwah.